Inspiring. Innovation is key to the future industry.
Things in a world of the structural engineer, which is the shrinkage in both early edge and long term.
Trying to reduce our carbon emissions in construction.
That's the biggest question for all design companies.
Everybody wants to go safe.
I believe with no doubt that establishing, maintaining and boosting trust, synergical collaboration.
Once you start to deliver and you see the results of your work and you are proud of that result, that makes you really happy.
I am a director of industrial projects. We are doing in Poland and in the rest of the Europe as well, mostly industrial design for of the steel structures, as well as execution drawings and the execution designs for the bridges. Here at NOVO, I was a lead structural engineer for the whole structure of the main building.
What do you see? What will the future demand in relation to gigafactories, and what is the pressure that is being put on engineering solutions for the future?
The point of gravity here is orientated towards the adjustment possibility. We have ongoing changes during the whole design project, the design part, as well as during the construction. So even though we started the construction, it's still the project for the process or for the MEP parts, it's still ongoing. All solutions used in the design should be possible to modify later on. The most complicated part is to keep them cost effective with being possible to adjust later on.
How do you balance those pressures of the demands of fast delivery, but engineering structural integrity?
So that's the biggest question for all design companies. I think all of the design companies struggle with that point. We at Jakosta try to, first and foremost, we use the newest software to be able to react fast and quick. And we try to keep the solution relatively simple so we can later on adjust them relatively quick.
I know you had a pivotal role in selecting the Combideck solution, which PrīmX offered, and which allows for future adjustments. Tell me, what was it that made you understand that you wanted this type of a solution?
So there was few points. Initially, we wanted to introduce a composite structure instead of standard concrete slab on the steel profiles, in order to have a significant impact on the overall tonnage of the structure. Nevertheless, at the same time, it was crucial to keep in mind future adjustment, as I've said earlier. So we needed to find a solution that will combine those two things. We restricted ourselves on the composite parts to stay flexible in order to be able to drill some holes or penetration later on that will not affect the overall structural stability and capacity of the floors.
What would you say? Explain to someone who doesn't have experience in this, but is possibly considering a large-scale build. What does this mean? Provide an example of how the Combideck solution impacts the future of your building. I understood that one of the aspects was that by choosing such a solution, however the way in which the floor is poured, that in the future, wherever you may need to cut a hole, that's possible.
So we have prepared during the design some kind of rules that if in future will be followed, it doesn't require, for example, additional statistical calculations. So over the whole floor, we have pointed out, or if you follow the rules prepared earlier, you can drill the holes, even big ones, like with 1 meter, over 1 meter diameter. You can still drill them without being concerned about the impact on the overall stability. So Usually you would need to reach out to structural engineer so he can double check the calculation, run them again, and then either confirm it's possible or reject it. But here we were prepared for that, and with the manuals that we prepare, there is no need to extend that process. It can be much quicker implemented.
And speed is key, isn't it?
Like always in industry.
And how has PrīmX's technical input shaped your engineering choices?
So, because we use the fiber concrete here for the slabs as well, we are able to use the fact that there is a different dehydration curve for this kind of concrete than we usually have. So by modifying the structure of the concrete, we are able to minimize the effects of the shrinkage in the slab, which allow us to reduce the amount of expansion joints that we would need to provide, which have directly impact on the overall costs.
Mm-hmm. And in this project, what would you say, what was a moment where you said, this is why I do what I do?
Well, for sure, once the first steel elements arrive on site and we could inspect them and go see them close by, that was really something that always hit me. And once that structure reached over 30 meters in high, it makes really great impression.
Any final words about this project, what you can say, which makes NOVO so different from anything else?
Well, from my point of view and from my experience, I would say that that the NOVO team was extremely open to innovations. We took those decisions that were brave in some parts together, not only relying on one of the parties here. So it was really close collaboration between us, and I think both teams feel very secure in that, and that allows us to have the results that we've got.